Hey, welcome everyone to another consumer tech advice video. In this video, I'm covering 5 official methods on how to extend the patching support, like security patches for Windows 10. Now, if you want to see the written versions video, you can find a link to my website in the video description. So before we jump into it, we're going to go through some notes of interest, and then we'll dive into the methodology on how to get this done. So yes, these are officially supported methods by Microsoft, so I'm not going to tell you to go to a shady website and download and install software to extend the support of Windows 10. I'm not going to tell you to mess with the registry keys of the operating system. First 3 methods are really easy to obtain. The last 2 a little bit harder, but the 5th and last method is by far the best option. But again, as I mentioned, it's a little harder to obtain. All 5 methods do have a catch to it because it's Microsoft. There has to be a catch to it, right? And in the coming weeks, I'm going to do everything possible to help people get use out of their machines, that they shouldn't throw them away. Don't waste your money on buying a new computer. Don't contribute to e-waste. Keep your computer. There's a way to load Windows 11 on hardware that doesn't support it. I've done it on my $3,000 computer. It's super easy to accomplish. Another video explaining how to get up and running with Linux. It's easier than ever. In fact, Linux Mint, which is a distribution of Linux, is easier to use in Windows 11. Using Linux has become so easy, it's just ridiculous now. So those are much better options than Windows 11. But for those of you that want to continue using Windows 10, let's dive into it. So Microsoft is not heavily advertising this method. They want everyone to adopt Windows 11, so this information is not that easily found. That's why I made this video. So in the first 3 methods, as I mentioned, they're a bit easier to accomplish, but there are some major catches with this. And it's all on this page right here, which is a little hard to find because Microsoft is purposely trying to hide it from folks. So the first method of the 3 is, hey, you can extend the support of security patches by an extra year by following one of these 3 methods. Now, you want to get security patches because the amount of hacks happening worldwide, and especially through botnet attacks where they randomly target different IP addresses, different home router addresses and whatnot, is ridiculous. Just a few weeks ago, I also went over a video on how to patch and fix hacked ASUS routers because they're being hacked worldwide. So you get the idea that if you don't patch Windows, antivirus will not help you, okay? That is a different layer of protection. If your computer has no security patches, a hacker can bypass the antivirus because the antivirus isn't looking for that type of attack and then affect your system and you're done. The first 3 methods are only good for a year. That's the main catch here, is that this method will only extend the life of your operating system security patches for an extra year. During that time, there's no feature updates, no extra interface changes, although those changes from Microsoft are usually trashy. They're pretty bad. They're just bloated. They make the computer go slower. And this website here will be linked in the website article of this video that you're watching right now. Again, a link to my website is in the video description. So the first 3 methods, it's pretty easy, but let's dive into each one and how there's a catch for each one, aside from the 1-year extension. It's just a 1-year extension, but there's some major catches on top of that. They're saying at no additional cost if you're syncing your PC settings. What does that basically mean? Is that when you're logged in with your Windows account on your computer, or your Microsoft account rather, on your Windows computer, it'll allow you to sync a whole bunch of stuff. It'll sync some of your apps, it'll sync some of your language preferences, Windows setting like your notification settings, your language, and blah blah blah, as well as other Windows settings. Some people might be like, how is this a secondary catch? What's the problem? I'll just log into my Microsoft account and sync everything. That's a good thing, isn't it? Yes and no. It's good because it's convenient. You don't have to redo all your settings on your next Windows computer, although there's not much to sync, to be honest. The problem here is that a lot of people, including myself, don't like to be forced to use a Microsoft account with Windows because they track all your data. Even when you get a pop-up when you install Windows 10 or Windows 11, you can say no to a lot of stuff. Some of it you can't say no. It's like, no, I just want to send partial data. Also, when you're typing in something in the start button, you start typing in something, you'll get web results. Microsoft also has Copilot on the computer. It's like they're trying to do everything in the power to track your data. And this is one method to say, hey, if you haven't already, use your Microsoft account and sync your settings. And here's how you do it. So we can track your settings. It's tracking data. That is the catch. You're selling your information to them. The next method is to redeem 1,000 Microsoft reward points. What are Microsoft reward points? It's points that Microsoft hands out when you, say, for example, use Bing search while logged in with your Microsoft account on Bing website. If you use the Microsoft Windows Store and you make purchases through there for like movies, games, whatever, you'll get points. Some people might be like, well, why am I not going to take points by searching for web results on Bing? Again, you're selling your data. It's the same way you do Google search results where you're logged in with your Google account. Google is tracking everything you're doing and they're collecting data on you and your behavior. It's collecting data. Microsoft does the exact same thing and they sell your information. So is it free? No, you're selling your data, but it doesn't cost you any dollar or currency amount. The last method does cost you a currency amount. According to this, it's $30 USD or local currency rate. So, and that's pretty much it. You pay a flat 30 bucks, and then of course you're extended for an additional year. There's no collecting of data or any of that nonsense, as far as I'm aware. Now, how do you get all this stuff up and running? Again, if you go to this website, you scroll down a little bit more, it tells you exactly how to activate these settings within Windows itself, and then which method do you want to use to extend the 1-year support. So those are the easy to achieve consumer methods to extend the patching support for an extra year. Now I'm going to dive into the other 2 harder methods. That's because the last 2 methods are much better, but they're designed primarily for businesses, enterprise businesses, small or mid-tier, doesn't matter, any type of business. Although some clever people will find ways to achieve this, and it's so much better. But let's dive into the 4th method, which is primarily designed for business users. So what happens is you basically have Windows Extended Support costs. This is typical. Microsoft has been doing this for many, many years on Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 7, Windows XP, so on and so forth. They've been doing this for a long time, that basically you pay for extended support for each year. So it's more expensive for businesses than it is the $30 cost for end users, because the first year of extending support is $61 USD. And then after that, it doubles every year. So the next year will be $122, and then the third year is even more expensive than that. So not cheap by any means. In fact, if you're a consumer and you try to achieve this method, even though it's really designed for businesses, think about all that money you're spending. You could probably get that much closer to just buying a new computer at that point anyway. Or better yet, just use Linux. Again, as I mentioned earlier in this video. So this is primarily designed for businesses that have some sort of volume licensing program or some sort of Microsoft partnership program. Sometimes you can do this through third-party resellers that usually cater to businesses. Although as a regular consumer, to achieve this stuff and retrieve it, not that easy, okay? By far the best is to use Windows 10 LTSC method. This is basically a long-term support version of Windows. There's 2 different versions of this. One is Windows LTSC and one is IoT LTSC, which stands for Internet of Things. After loading Windows 11 regular consumer version on my 10-year-old computer, and which I'll show how to do that in a future video coming up in the next few weeks, I actually went ahead and loaded Windows 11 IoT LTSC version. It is absolutely phenomenal. The IoT version, whether it's Windows 10 or Windows 11, is by far the best version of Windows ever. There's no bloat. There's no Candy Crusher garbage being loaded up. There's no pop-ups from Microsoft notifications that you don't care about. They're not trying to upsell OneDrive services to you, Microsoft services to you. There's no Windows Store. I mean, you can load the Windows Store on the IoT version particularly, but it's not there by default. So if you don't want it, you don't have to use a Microsoft account for anything. It is de-bloated, de-Microsoft Windows from Microsoft. It's just gone of the Microsoft bloated garbage, and it runs so much faster. Again, the problem with this is these are primarily licenses designed for businesses and enterprises. So if you can achieve it as a regular consumer, more power to you. It is phenomenal. I'm running on my computer right now. The other crazy thing about Windows 10 LTSC IoT version is if you look at more of their documentation information, is that this version of Windows 10 will last until 2032. Which is absolutely crazy because this is for very specific purposes, such as kiosk centers. Like say you go to McDonald's and they have that touchscreen panel, you could place your order. It might be running Windows 10 IoT underneath. It can also be used at like bus stops, kiosk systems. You kind of get the idea. And that's why it's designed for longevity. However, the beautiful thing about this is that you install this on a computer. And the unfortunate thing is that it's very hard to obtain, again, because it's for businesses. That is the 5 methods to get Windows 10 patching support extended. Again, the last 2 methods are not that easy. The first 3 methods are more catered towards consumer, but there's a cost, either your data or a flat out fee of some kind. And then after that 1-year period in 2026 of October, you're stuck. I highly doubt Microsoft's going to extend it yet again. They want everyone on Windows 11. So again, stick around to my channel over the next few weeks if you haven't subscribed already. I'm going to go over methods on how to load Windows 11 on a computer that doesn't support Windows 11, going over Windows 11 IoT LTSC, which I just discussed very quickly in this video, and as well as dual booting Windows and Linux, or just flat out Linux altogether. You really have the option. It's super easy, and Linux Mint is now my go to OS. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my social link and website link in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help. Subscribe, it literally helps my channel grow. And thanks for watching.